Ladies and gentlemen, your friend Spencer here. The Bethel Church in Redding, California is still having these services where they're asking God to resurrect the toddler named Olive that was legally declared deceased last Saturday. It's Thursday of the next week, and they're still asking God 5 days into this to resurrect this child. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point where we have to ask ourselves a question. At what point does this cease to be Christianity and it starts to get into the realm of necromancy? This is weird at this point. I mean, I could maybe give you a day or two and maybe 12 hours and say, I'm going to pray for a miracle that God would resurrect this child. I would not even say anything at 12 hours. I probably wouldn't even really say anything at 24, maybe 36 hours. But when you're 5 days into this and you're still I'm not talking about a mother who's had an emotional breakdown and a dad who's had an emotional breakdown and are praying 5 days into this that God would. I'm not even saying that. I'm talking about a entire body of people, hundreds of these people. Hundreds of them. And not only that, hundreds of thousands of them online are still 5 days into this praying that God would resurrect a dead toddler. We have gone so far off the ranch here that it's bizarre. And I think, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Lord is allowing this to be seen on such a global scale because I think the Lord is revealing to people that who these people really are. Now, I'm not saying that God took this child. I'm not saying anything like that. So don't even go there with me. I'm not saying that stuff. But through things like this, you can actually see the real nature of these denominations. Now, when I started talking about Lauren Daigle, everybody started saying, well, you're just judging. You're just being critical. You're not being loving. You're not, she's doing more for the kingdom, blah, blah, blah. And then I went to Hillsong and I said, Hillsong's dangerous. I mean, these people are a bunch of drinkers and a bunch of fornicators and into all kinds of weird stuff. And oh man, 1 million views later, I mean, I think I got 15,000 comments on my Hillsong Generation video. And it's like, you're not judging, you're not loving, you're just being a rude guy and just, you don't have any love of Christ in your heart. And then this happens. And if you're not convinced at this point, I don't know what to tell you. My issue is music has never been about the style. Although in my book on Calling Evil Good, the Live Christian Rock and Roll, I do deal with the style. I do deal with the history of Christian rock and roll because unlike some preachers, I'm actually very knowledgeable of this stuff. I understand the secular music. I understand the Christian side of music. I understand. I'm saying to you that they're not compatible. They're oil and water. They're not even the same stuff. You can't. They're apples and oranges. You can't even put them together. And my book deals with a lot of stuff. I go through and deal with the fruit of all this and what these people actually believe, what they're saying. And I've tried through my channel to deal with modernism and false religions and try to explain what Bible Christianity is versus what these other things are. I deal with a little bit of church history. I deal with modernism, evangelicalism, fundamentalism, orthodoxy, non-orthodoxy. I try to deal with the Catholic Church and try to give you just a big picture of things because I think the average pulpit today is not dealing with this stuff. And I understand why. I mean, most pulpits today are just trying to give people a message that they want to hear, trying to encourage people. A lot of people are depressed nowadays. A lot of people are down nowadays, and a lot this kind of stuff it's really not what I'm dealing with on here. Is not really Sunday morning pulpit preaching. I'm trying to give the nuts and bolts of all the world of religiosity because I think I understand it to some degree. I've got a lot of experience in the Eastern Hemisphere over there in Africa. I've got a lot of experience here in America. I know people. I've got connections, and I think in the big picture, I think I've got a good idea of what's going on. And my big point is that there are basically two forms of religion in the world today, especially in the form of Christianity. There's Bible-believing Christianity, and then there's emotion-driven Christianity. There's one that says if it feels good, we're going to go with that, and there's one that says if the Bible says it, then we're going to follow that. And they're not the same thing. I'm I know good Pentecostal people who are born again, who love Jesus, who tell me, they say, well, our denomination has been taken over by these people. We did a video on Kundalini where I talked about the false Holy Spirit in churches, and I think Benny Hinn is one of these false teachers. I think that, and I even show you people that are having Kundalini awakenings in these videos. I put a video of a guy having a Kundalini awakening in my the Third Adam trailer too. I just put that, and these people are rolling their heads back in their eyes, and I've got friends in Australia over there that are like right under the shadow of the monster of Hillsong, who work with these people day in and day out, not the North American version, the Australian version of it, and they're telling me the same stuff. They're saying, yeah, these people are sick. These people are sick. I was out in a hotel in Bungoma, Kenya, way out there on the Uganda border, and there was a group of people that came in one time. There were about 8 to 10 of them. And they're all these 25 to 22-year-old co-ed folks, and you know, these you know, when they got cross bracelets on, and they you know, a bunch of these white girls with dreads in their hair, and all these guys that look like they hadn't taken a shower in 2 weeks, and real greasy, nasty folks, and they're all wearing these shirts that say "We love Jesus" and stuff. And I asked them where they were from, and these were Hillsong people, and I mean, and I started hearing the things they were saying. And we were eating at the restaurant, the hotel across from the way, and I noticed I was just watching their behavior. And man, they told dirty jokes, they cussed, and then I just watching them, and I realized they're all drinking beer, but they're Hillsong people. They're Hillsong people. And that morning we walked out and went to go do our work out there in Kenya, and this gazebo is filled with these co-eds, and they're all just talking in tongues, and it was demonic. I sat there and watched them for about 15 minutes waiting for our van to come pick us up, and the whole time all these people, they're doing this blah 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 shiba blah blah blah. I mean, just it looked like something in a Hindu temple. It was scary. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, like, I'm kind of freaked out by this. This is really bizarre. But they believe that's the Holy Spirit. And it's not. It's Kundalini. It is a false Eastern mystic religion feigning Christianity. This is esotericism. This is theosophy. This is a false religion that is feigning Christianity because their goal is to merge all religions together and just pick and choose the good and bad from the other, and merge it all into one big thing. That's what they're trying to do. That is the goal of Satan. And the big names in that are Bethel, and the big names in that are Hillsong. These people are not Christians. And the thing that they do is that they put out some of the most well-produced, euphoric music you've ever heard in your life. Some of the best singers I've ever heard have been on the stage of Bethel there in Redding, California. I mean, these are not podunk hillbillies, you know, putting together and a choir like they do in East Tennessee, where I went to college. You go to them podunk churches up there, and somebody gets up and says, "Whoever wants to sing in the choir, get on up here today," and they just throw together a choir with whoever's willing and just, you know, hee-haw through a song. These people are not that. These people are really good. These are tremendous musicians. And the problem with that is that Lucifer was a great musician. Lucifer's MO has always been music. That's where he goes. That's where his expertise is. That's his thing. He is good at that. Many Bible commentators I read say that Lucifer was the worship leader in heaven. He was the anointed cherub. He had vials in him. Violins is where we get the word from. Tabrets. Go read Isaiah 14 in your King James Bible. How art thou art fallen, O Lucifer, thou son of the morning. Okay, that's in there, and it goes through and describes this anointed cherub named Lucifer. Isaiah 14, that's the first thing in the Bible chronologically, not canonically. That's the first thing chronologically that Lucifer said in the Bible was, "I will be like the Most High." And so Satan's MO has always been to imitate and infiltrate the things that God is doing. And Bethel is just one of these churches, the false churches that he set up. Now, 5 days into this, they're still trying to resurrect this child. It's sick. It's disgusting. I can't believe it. I cannot believe what these people are still doing 5 days into this. Let me show you an article here before I get too worked up. This is from, I guess that's discern.com. Put out a great article. Bethel Church leaders, members trying to resurrect worship leader's deceased 2-year-old daughter. This is December 19th. And this was put out this morning. Excuse me. I get too worked up about this stuff and my throat gets dry. This is 8:40 this morning. They put out this article, and there's Olive, the child that passed away. 2-year-old daughter of Bethel Church worship leader Callie Heiligenthal and her husband Andrew died unexpectedly early Saturday morning. Since then, the heartbroken parents have enlisted church leaders and members of the Bethel megachurch conglomerate to pray, worship, and believe for Olive's resurrection from the dead. And so Callie's posting these pictures. This is what she said on her Instagram. Day 3 is a good day for resurrection. I didn't mean to go to Instagram there. Let me pull that up. Day 3 is a good day for resurrection. And no, Callie, no. I'm sorry that her false religion has led her to believe this insanity. They've held ceremonies daily since the girl's death where they sing, pray, chant, and dance as they beckon the girl to come out of the grave. I mean, they're chanting that over and over and over and over again. Whoa! How much more crazy can this be? I mean, I told you guys, this is poison. This is sick. Get away from this music. It's going to suck you into this insanity. That's what they're chanting that over and over again. Bethel leaders told the Reading Record Searchlight that after medics were unable to revive Olive, the Heiligenthals immediately asked friends, family, and others from the church gather and pray for a miracle of resurrection. Bethel Church believes in the stories of healing and physical resurrection found in the Bible, and that the miracles they portray are possible today, the Charismatic Church says. And that's just a video there. And let's just play it right.
Olive's name means awakened or awakening. That is the meaning of her name. We just call forth this awakening that you are meant to live and not die. You are meant to live and not die.
Supporters are taking to social media to show their support, singing songs with lyrics such as "She's going to breathe, she's going to live, I know." And here, I mean, a GoFundMe was also launched for the family with a goal of $100,000. In the fundraiser's description, Olive's mother, Callie, wrote, "We believe in a Jesus who died and conclusively defeated every grave, holding the keys to the resurrection power. We need it for our little Olive Alania, who stopped breathing yesterday and has been pronounced dead by doctors. We're asking for bold, unified prayers from the global church to stand with us in belief that he will raise this little girl back to life. Her time here is not done, and it is our time to believe boldly and with confidence wield that King Jesus paid for. It's time for her to come to life." And we played this in our last video here. Someone from A.W. Tozier Theological Seminary said, "Attempting to bring someone back to life is not widely accepted in the Christian faith, but may be more particular to Bethel Church," said Patrick Blewett, Dean of A.W. Tozier Theological Seminary at Simpson University in Reading. "This fits more into Bethel Church, into what they're teaching." Blewett, who knows the Heiligenthal family, said it is more common to view death as the next step in life. He said, quoting from 2 Corinthians, which says, "We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord." I believe this baby's with the Lord. I believe that. And honestly, and I say this delicately, but anybody who's with the Lord, they wouldn't want to come back. They wouldn't. They wouldn't want to come back. On Wednesday night, Bill Johnson, senior leader of Bethel Church in Reading, posted a video to Facebook in which he maintains that in raising the dead back to life, Jesus Christ set a biblical precedent for modern believers to follow. Listen to this insanity from this sick man. Listen to this, if you can hear it. Let me put my microphone on this so you can hear it.
The reason Jesus raised the dead is because not everyone dies in God's time. And Jesus could tell, and he would interrupt that funeral. He would interrupt that process.
That's the reason he gave. Not everybody dies in God's timing. How much more cuckoo do you want to get than that? I mean, how much more off does he need to be? This is the worst thing about all this right here. I mean, we're 5 days into this. 5 days after her death, Allah's parents are still seeking her resurrection. Day 5 is a really good day for resurrection, her mother writes in the most recent Instagram post. She's posting a picture of her child, and she posts this on Instagram. I want you to see this right here. Day 5 is a really good day for resurrection. I've never been more grateful for Jesus. He is endlessly worthy of our love, trust, faith, and risk. The problem with these people is that they worship another Jesus. They have another gospel. They have another spirit. Paul told you about this stuff. In the book of Galatians, he told you these people were here. The book of 2 Corinthians talks about his ministers Satan manifests himself as an angel of light, 2 Corinthians chapter 11. He told you that even his ministers, Satan's ministers, they're do-gooders. Go read 2 Corinthians chapter 11 in the King James Bible. Go read that. It talks about Satan manifesting himself as an angel of light. He has do-gooders. That's who these people are. Unbelievable stuff. You say, well, Brother Spencer, it's just the music. I just like the music. Well, you need to take your blinders off and realize that you are accepting something that is sick. Now, I'm going to just give you this. My mother was a nurse growing up, and she went from being a nurse for a pediatrician. She worked at a hospital, went to a nurse as a pediatrician, then she went to a public school system working as a school nurse, and then she's now in an administrative role in the public school system there. I remember as a kid, my mother would always come and tell stories of some of the things she was dealing with at the pediatrician's office. She said one thing that was really common, and she actually taught me this as a kid. Don't just put pills in your mouth. That's not good. She said it was quite often that kids would come into the hospital, the pediatrician's office, and they had got into the pill cabinet, and they got a hold of Advil. Now, I don't know if you've ever had an Advil, but Advils have a candy coating on them. And they actually taste pretty good. I mean, if they could, it wouldn't be a good idea, but if they could actually just take the candy coating off that and actually market that just as a candy by itself, it actually would probably do pretty well. It tastes like an M&M. I mean, it really tastes good. And Advil tastes good. And so my mother was telling me, said a lot of kids get into the medicine cabinet, and they'll put 15 Advils in their mouth and chew them up and swallow them. And it kills them. You take that many Advil, it actually, if I remember correctly, I believe it eats the lining of your stomach and you bleed internally and you actually die. You can be severely damaged by taking that many Advil, and it's not good. It poisons you, but it's got a candy coating, and so kids get into this stuff to their own destruction. And I'm here to warn you about Bethel Church, about Hillsong, Lauren Daigle, Casting Crowns. I'm telling you, listen, even you fundamental Baptists that are tinkering with Casting Crowns, you need to listen to Brother Spencer right now, because I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to prevent your grandkids from going into this stuff. You need to listen to me. This is out of hell. This is New Age religion feigning Christianity. That's what this is. This is dangerous stuff. And the candy coating that they use to get you to swallow this is the music. And the music's sweet. Oh, that music's sweet. Oh, it's got a sweet flavor. I mean, who in their right mind listens to Carrie Job and says that doesn't sound great? I mean, who's listening to Lauren Daigle and says she sounds terrible? Nobody's saying that, because these are world-class musicians. World-class musicians. But the music is the candy coating to get you to swallow the poison. Years ago, actually, my father was a mechanic too, and he actually taught me that antifreeze actually, if I remember correctly, many times they've tried to put a law in the books saying that you got to add a nasty agent, a bittering agent to antifreeze, ethylene glycol. And the reason you have to do that is because man would work on his car, pour antifreeze in his car in the radiator, and then there'd spill some on the floor. A dog would come and lick that up, because ethylene glycol is actually a syrup. It's actually that's what keeps it from freezing. It's got an alcohol syrup in there. It's like a sugar alcohol, and it actually I've never tasted it, but they say that it tastes good. And they want to add a bittering agent to ethylene glycol antifreeze so that dogs don't drink it accidentally and die. And they had so many dead dogs drinking it, and people were losing their dogs because of some sweet flavor. And there were even some cases of kids drinking antifreeze and dying. I mean, if I were just put a small cup, I mean, not even this much right here. Okay, that's my somebody gave me this mug. It's a Doctor Who mug. Don't judge me. And somebody gave it to me. Can't be free. But if I were to just drink that much antifreeze, then I would die. And that's the problem with this religion. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's so euphoric. It's so happy. Oh, it makes you feel so good. Oh, it makes you feel so good about Jesus. But it's poison. Do you think the devil would really, if you were the devil and you were trying to damn the souls of the world, do you think you'd put on red horns and a pitchfork? Do you really think you'd do that? Would you masquerade yourself as that, or would you come in as a sweet guy, an angel of light, if you will? If you were Satan, that's what you'd do. And that's what he has done. I'm telling you, look at me. I'm telling you, this man right here. I want to make his face real big on my screen. Well, I can't make it any bigger. This man that you're looking at on that screen right there is an agent of Satan. He is a sick puppy, and he's going to hell when he dies, because he doesn't preach the same Jesus you do. He does not believe in the same gospel that you do. He is not a born-again Christian. I believe this man is leading this church into occult necromancy. That's what this is. It's sick. And it's time that you awaken to this. Subscribe to our channel. We love you guys. And I'll end with my famous line. What do I know? I'm just a guy with the Bible.